back to my channel. Okay, so today we're talking all about the brows. This was requested on my Facebook page, which you guys should go follow me over there as well. It's always linked down below if you guys want to go hit the like button on my Facebook. Somebody sent me a personal message asking specifically how to fill in full brows. So not someone who has very sparse brows, someone who already has really full brows but just needs like a little bit of help to even them out and just kind of make them match a little bit better and fill in a few bald spots here and there, which is my situation. I do have a lot of bald spots right here on the front of my brows, and then they get pretty bushy towards the end. So I do use a few products to kind of even them out, which I will go over in a moment. And I am just gonna basically briefly touch on what I use to shape my brows. So let's go ahead and jump straight into the video. Let's talk about the tools that you can use first to shape your brows. So what I do personally is go get my brows threaded by someone here locally, and then in between sessions I will groom my brows myself and maintain the shape with just regular tweezers. These are from Revlon. I really like these. And I will also occasionally use these little brow shapers. They're like little razors for your eyebrows. I only like to use these to clean up a lot of these little peach fuzz baby hairs that I get on my actual lids. That are kind of hard for me to tweeze because they're so fine. So I will use this to just clean up that area. You can use this to clean up this area right here if you have a lot of hairs like I do. So my hairline is pretty much connected to my brows here, so I do have to clean up. And this is so much easier than tweezing because it hurts a lot more to tweeze those hairs. You just have to be really careful because if not, you will leave yourself with zero brows. The only area I don't use this for is the top of the brow right here. I also use these little cosmetic scissors, and what I will do with these is use this to trim my hair. So I'll brush them up and then just kind of trim them. Today I'm not going to do a demo on the shaping. I just wanted to share what I use. If you guys want to see that, I can do that in a separate video. Today it's just like filling in the brows and like the basics of what I use to maintain them. And then other than that, that's pretty much all I do to groom them. So we can go ahead and move on to what I actually use to fill them in. There's many different ways that you guys can fill your brows in. You can use pencils, pomades, you can use brow powder. There's so many things on the market right now for brows because, come on, everyone wants to have their brows on fleek. I can't believe I actually said that. But everybody is really into brows at the moment. So there's a lot of different products that you can pick from. I really like using just regular old school brow pencils that are these kind of waxy ones that you have to use a sharpener to, you know, like sharpen the pencil. I'll show you this other one as well. This one is from NYX. It's the micro brow pencil, and it's very similar to the Anastasia Brow Wiz, which I don't own myself, so I don't know if it's a dupe or anything. But these micro pencils are supposed to have a really fine tip, which they do, but what it's meant to do is mimic the hair on your brows. So if you're someone who has very sparse brows, this is supposed to look more natural than, let's say, like something like this that it has to be really sharpened for you to get the same effect. So there you can see the difference in the tip of these pencils. Obviously the micro pencil is a lot thinner and smaller comparing it to the regular brow pencil. I don't know what it is, I just prefer these regular ones as long as the consistency of it is smooth enough for me to glide it around my brow. I also like to set everything with a brow powder. This one is from Anastasia. I've had it forever and I think the packaging changed by now. Mine is in the shade Brunette Dark Brown, and I just like to mix both shades and then set the brow pencil on top of it. And that's pretty much it. I'll show you right now in the demo. And then at the very end, if I have any on hand, I will use a clear brow gel. This one is from Essence and I really do like this one. And I just wipe off the wand a little bit and then set my brows into place, and then, you know, you're out the door and you're ready to go. I think that is close enough. So what we want to do first is brush our brows in an upward motion. And then you can smooth out your hairs with the little spoolie. This one is really nice, the one that comes with the NYX Micro Brow Pencil. It gets really in there and just combs through all of the hairs. If you guys see any dry flaking on my brow hairs, I'm sorry. They're always really dry for some reason. This is a side where I have a lot more trouble because my brow is a lot straighter. So I like to really brush the hairs up like this and move them around so that I can kind of push them up to this area that I want to fill in, and then I will smooth them out. Moving on to the brow pencil, I'm going to be using this one from Essence, which is my favorite one, in 04 Blonde. I realize that I'm not a blonde by far. I am not a blonde. But this is a good match for me once I mix it with my brow powder, which is a lot darker. If I were to use a dark pencil and then a dark powder, my brows are going to look like holy cow chola brows. So I have to go lighter on the pencil and then darker on the powder. That's just the balance that I found works for me. So I'm going to be using this, and make sure that it's really sharpened if you're using one of these regular pencils. Okay, and what I'm going to do, let me see if I can get my mirror here, is I like to start right on this lower part of the brow towards the front, and I draw a line using tiny little strokes like this to fill in these little gaps that you can see right here, which is where I have the most sparseness. I'm using a very, very light hand. So I'm just going to draw a straight line. Then I like to define the highest point of my brow, which is the arch right here, and then I go ahead and fill everything in. So I do the lower part and then the arch, and then I work my way in. And I'm just going to do little baby strokes like this towards the center and work my way up to the arch. It's kind of hard to do looking at the viewfinder. Okay, let me look at my mirror. So I'm drawing the point of my brow, and then I just curve it down slightly so it's not so like scary looking. And I am using the point of the pencil, but then working my way down, I like to lay my pencil flat like this. I find that it makes it look a lot softer and not so drawn on if I finish the tail of the brow using the softer edge of it, as opposed to using the point where I'm going to get a super drawn on line. I don't know, I just found that that makes it look better for me. And then once I have that all filled in, I will work my way back to the front of the brow and then just draw like tiny little strokes upward just to fill in these little bald spots that I have. I've always had these little bald spots here, even though I used to have a unibrow. I had a unibrow, believe it or not. I'm done with the pencil for now, so I'm going to take my spoolie and I'm just going to distribute all of the brow pencil throughout the brows and just really get in there, work it in so that it looks a lot more natural. My brows are looking a little intense today, more than normal, but we're just going to go with it. So that product's nice and worked into the brow. We can move on to adding the brow powder, and I'm going to be using the same one that I mentioned earlier. I just like to wiggle my brush in there and get a good mixture of both. This is my favorite brush to use with this powder, and I've tried other ones and I don't know why this one is like my favorite one to use. It's from Revlon. I just use a little angle side of it and I just dip it back and forth just like this, and then I dab it on the back of my hand because I can be a little heavy-handed sometimes. And then I'm just going to go over everything in no particular order, really. I just want to make sure that I'm getting a really clean edge right here, that I'm not going too far down. And then with whatever is left on the brush, I'm not going to add any extra brow product. I am going to lay it flat against the bottom edge, so just like this. And I'm going to flick the brush up. And whatever is left is going to distribute into these little bald areas that I have, or sparse areas. Then go back to your spoolie and brush the brow products in again. So every step that you do, you want to distribute all of the products so that you're getting a really natural brow and it's not looking too drawn on. Unless that's the look you're going for and you want your brows to look super like the HD brows, then you can go ahead and, you know, leave them a little more defined. And then finally, we're going to set everything in with our brow gel. So I'm going to take the little spoolie that comes with the gel and I'm just going to brush this through. And then I go back to my regular spoolie and then I just remove any extra gel that I might have applied. So once I have that worked in, if there is anything you need to clean up, you can take some concealer. I just like to take my beauty blender that's still wet with foundation from earlier, and I just clean up this edge right here, which is where I tend to get a little carried away. So I will just literally drag this right here, also on the front of the brow. And for underneath, you could carve this out with some concealer and clean up these edges. I personally don't like that look, so I would just take whatever brow bone highlight I'm using. Today I'm using this one from NYX. It's in the shade I Have a Headache, and I will take the other side of this little brush, which is really small, and if I had any mistakes, I will go over this right here, the bottom edge, super, super close to the brow, and this will kind of help to erase it. Can you guys see that? And then I will just highlight the rest of the brow with this really, really close to the brow. And that is pretty much it for how I fill in my brows. Let me go ahead and catch up and do this one, and I will be right back. So I am all caught up on both brows. I hope you guys found this video helpful. This is how I fill in my brows every day. I don't go out without filling my brows in at least. I just think it really helps to frame your face, especially if you're not wearing a lot of makeup. Just filling in your brows is going to help make you look really put together. So if anything, fill in your brows and apply some mascara and you will be good to go. So I hope you found this video helpful for filling in full brows. If you guys have any questions, please leave them down below and I would be more than happy to get back to you as soon as I can. Everything I used will be listed down below as always. So thank you all so much for watching. Take care, besitos, and I will talk to you really soon. Bye!